Okay, here I go. I'm gonna read every single weapon story for every weapon. Oh my god. Alright, feel free to mute if you don't want to hear me. I wouldn't blame anybody. Alright, the weapon Faith. And obviously I'm going to be doing ones I've already done before, but I'm just doing this for completion's sake. Faith. In the capital of a distant eastern land, there lived a poet who was devoted to his art. But his words failed to touch the hearts of the people, and he could make no profit from them. Soon his life became unbearably hard. Seeing the limits of his talent, the poet chose to abandon the pen and work the land instead. Soon his lily-white skin began to grow dark, and his once frail body became sinewy and tough. He eventually married a kind woman, and several years later they had a child. As the peaceful, uneventful days went on, the man began to feel that there could be no greater happiness in life. Or so the poet wrote before he put down his pen, swallowed the paper whole, and prayed that the next life might turn out so well. He then took Faith, already stained with the blood of another, and plunged it deep into his chest. Alright, not... Had to make it fucked up at the end. Okay. Iron pipe. Dad, if you're cold, I can give you my hat. You're the best father in the world, after all. Dad, if you're hungry, you can have my cookie. You're my favorite person in the world, after all. Dad, if you're scared, I can sleep by your side. You're my closest friend in the world, after all. So please don't go anywhere, alright, Dad? Don't leave your Yona all alone, okay? Beastbane. Once upon a time, there were 3 princesses. The middle princess wasn't very bright, but was renowned by all as a great beauty. Once she came of age, she was married off to the king of a neighboring nation. The neighboring king adored his new wife and treasured her looks above all else. He gave the middle princess 6 new dresses and 8 fresh flowers every day, and his love caused her beauty to shine all the more. The middle princess did all she could to remain beautiful for her king, but she knew time would eventually catch up with her, as it did for all. So after much hard thought, she developed a cunning plan. The middle princess had herself stuffed and mounted so she could remain beautiful for all time. The king wept joyful tears at the sight, but alas, 2 years later war broke out and her body was crushed under the rubble of the castle. Man, she went the distance to make someone happy, and it still got ruined. But my lord, that takes some dedication and willpower to get yourself stuffed, and clearly a lot of insanity. Phoenix Dagger. The girl lay there on the day of her wedding. Her parents and beloved were dead, and she herself had been violated in front of their corpses. Oh my god. As she swore to kill those who had done this terrible deed, a shining songbird appeared. Allow me to grant your wish, said the bird. Wish upon this dagger and never forget this hatred that you feel. The girl grasped the weapon and spat out a tearful curse. I vow not to forget. Please give them a painful death. Time passed and eventually she got her revenge. Years later, when she was an old woman, the songbird appeared anew. What of your vow? It asked, but she did not understand. And come to think of it, what became of her beloved dagger? That night, bandits broke into her house, assaulted her daughter, and murdered her grandchild. The songbird then reappeared with a single question: how long will your hatred burn this time? Moving on. Ancient Overlord. One day, a young girl's village was sacked by bandits. To protect her family, she took up a dagger her father had found in the mountains and killed one of them, an act that shocked her family. But the bandits fled, never to return. 5 years passed, then 10, then 20. Though the family she protected began to grow old, the girl never aged. Eventually, the other villagers began to shun her. With no one to turn to, she finally left her village and began to wander the earth, visiting many strange lands in the process. As the years passed, her skill and fame as a master sword fighter grew to legend. Eternal life, a powerful weapon, and boundless experience, she used these talents to become queen of a nation, and yet there was emptiness in her life, for she still desired the kindness her family denied her after that fateful day. It's not a fucked up story like the one so far. A little sad. Yara RD Team Journal, August 29 for Type 40 sort, sorry. Held a progress report meeting for the new weapon. Considering how many observers we have from the other orbiting satellites, I can tell they expect a lot from us. Yoha R&D Team Journal, December 10th. We had our first core installation experiment today. She saw troubling signs, including issues with unexpected irregular output and core parameter defenses. Parameter? Whatever. January 8th. The circuits of 3 consecutive staffers burned out after attempting to remove the core's protection. I've requested replacement personnel. January 15th. Command pulled the plug on our project. The weapon will go into official operation with the core still sealed. Okay. Type 3 sword. The craftsman's weapons were neither flashy nor attractive, but they never once failed in battle. This reliability afforded him a never-ending stream of loyal clients, yet something nagged at the craftsman. Though he'd forged many a weapon, he'd only tested them on pigs and cows. He wondered what it might feel like to use them on another human being. Of course he would. Oh my. The craftsman took a sword to a battlefield and slashed at corpses, disappointed at how easily the sword slid through them. It wasn't satisfying at all. He wanted to really feel like he was ripping through flesh. The craftsman modified a sword in search of that feeling, not thinking at all of the pain it would cause, until one night a bandit broke into his home, snatched the weapon up, and showed him exactly how effective it was. Well, I can't say he didn't bring this upon himself. Virtuous contract. How long can I fight amidst this bloody vortex of a battlefield? How long, I wonder. How long can I continue to protect what I love amidst this endless war? How long, I wonder. How long can I continue to believe in a world laden with deceit and folly? How long, I wonder. How long can I lie to myself as I despair at the dark future of this world? How long, I wonder. Cruel oath. Once, long ago, there was a group of 7 boys who were born in the same village. They were not brothers by blood. Though they were not brothers by blood, they treated each other as family. One cold night, a fortune teller appeared and warned of a traitor among them. The boys laughed it off and went about their business, but the next morning one of them lay dead. With each passing night, another boy died. The survivors grew more and more suspicious of each other, each harboring terrible doubts about what happened to their brothers. On the morning of the 7th day, a single survivor stood tall, cleaning the blood from his hands. He chuckled to himself, better go find the traitor. Yorha Issue Blade. Morning, listeners. It's time to kick off another installment of Listener Letters with your favorite radio idol, DJ.43. Now let's get this day started right, shall we? How's it going, listeners? Yeah, I know you're all still thinking about the cleanup operation yesterday, right? We may have lost a lot of good people, but it's still our job to get up and at 'em, right? Howdy, listeners. Your favorite radio idol, DJ.44D, hasn't been receiving many letters lately. Don't you like me anymore? Haha. Or maybe no one is even listening. Anyway, who's ready to kick things off? Hello, is anyone there? Is this thing even on? It's me, radio listeners, 24D. I'm an idol, remember? An idol, you motherfuckers, I'm an idol. I'm sorry, I went off script there. She's an idol. Machine Sword. The more old records I read, the more fascinated I become by the species known as humans. We machines must do all we can to preserve these precious artifacts and continue to record their contents. I see from these records how important predation and reproduction were to human survival, and yet they viewed such acts as sinful. I wonder why. I found a famous human book today but after reading it 10 times it still makes no sense to me. What possible attraction could there be to such a thing? Did you find the Kama Sutra? Eureka, it seems the answer was in front of me all along. I am simply incapable of comprehending anything about humanity or the world in general. Ah, how wonderful it is to live in a world swaddled in mystery. Well, now I know where all those orgy robots learn how to do their moves. They happen to find a very informative book. Iron Will. The sword's blade, dulled by years of idleness, was, as its name implied, a mere iron hunk. Its blood-drenched youth was little more than a series of rusted memories which grated against its pock-marked steel. Who could wield this hunk of iron now that its edge was gone? Who might love it when all it could do was bash dully against a foe instead of cutting through flesh and bone? Who would devote themselves to such insanity? The sword sighed softly, pleased to finally be at rest, but before it could peacefully crumble into dust, a group of power-hungry fools took it up and denied its reverie anew. Whatever. Red rust was the weapon's tears, the blood, fat, and muscle it tore through was proof of its curse. Now let it hew bone once more, let it ravage flesh, let it do all of this and more as atonement for its sins. Fang of the Twins. Twin souls were sacrificed to twin gods and bound to an unbreakable dual-bladed axe. Whenever nicked or damaged, it would instantly repair itself. The two blades would never part. They would be together for the rest of time. The souls in the blade yearned to be as one, to grow old as one, to fall in love as one. It is why we both love the same person. I am myself, look at me, give me love, stop copying me, I'm not. We are together, we are one, life or death, even if we kill our foes, even if we kill each other, our two bodies will be as one for all time. Someone separate us, oh God, please someone help me. Oh. I bet can't ever be with someone forever. You need your own space. Beast Lord. Once upon a time there were 3 princesses. The eldest princess was thought by all to be the most brilliant woman in the kingdom, as she soon sat upon the throne of her homeland as their queen. The new queen raised a mighty armor to afford the endeavor she taxed her people, and in turn they were given jobs and new factories created to support the war effort. People worked, money flowed. As the army grew strong, the demand for factories grew with it, and then the cycle repeated. More work, more money, more work, more money. The queen's plan proceeded just as she had envisioned it. To further strengthen the kingdom, we were converted to machines to enhance our output in factories and the military. Our queen in turn became the control system that rules us to this day. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Phoenix Sword. One day a hawk lost its way in the woods. Its proud wings soon grew weak as it tried in vain to find its way home. As death approached, a songbird took pity on the hawk and did its best to offer aid. The songbird slowly nursed the hawk back to health. The beautiful sight of the small white bird nestled in the elegant wings of the hawk soon made it the envy of all the creatures in the forest. When the hawk was fully healed, it knew it was time to leave the forest, but before flying away it promised the songbird it would one day return. In turn, the songbird gave the hawk one of its shining feathers as a token of friendship. As promised, the hawk eventually returned, but with a human in tow. "Well done," said the human. "These feathers will sell for a great price at the market." Then he slew the songbird in one blow and plucked its carcass clean. You betraying asshole. Type 40 blade. Development Journal 0504 Takeda. I've come up with an incredible idea. Someone no one has ever done before. I'm going to start testing it out first thing in the morning. 0704 Takeda. The boss turned down my idea of infusing metallic alloys with magical elements. Thrice damned fool. Doesn't he see how much money we could make from this? 2001 Takeda. Things aren't going well. My hair is falling out. I think it's the stress. I've got to find a way to make this project succeed, and soon. 1215 whatever. Looked over the data but couldn't work out the problem. I'm not giving up though. With the Takeda dead, it's up to me. I'm the only one who can carry on his work. Type 3 blade. The great sword was known for the intense pain inflicted upon its victims. This is what drove the man to carry it despite its weight, for he knew it would make others fear him, and thus could he avoid needless conflict. The man's reputation spread through the village despite never having drawn the blade. "Don't make him use that horrid weapon," the villagers responded. The man smiled at this, for he knew that fear was the best path to peace. Soon the man had craftsmen forge a host of similar weapons He gave them he gave them to all the other villagers in the hope it would force people to solve conflicts with words instead of violence, and his plan worked for a while. Keeping all sides in check is simple when no one uses their power, but once that seal is broken, the end is nigh. Thus did the peaceful village transform itself into a living hell over the space of a single night. Yeah, giving everybody a weapon doesn't suddenly mean no one's going to use that weapon. That was foolish. Virtuous treaty. First encountered with my lover, failed to connect with my lover, far away went my lover, with death went my lover to eternity. Well, that was quick and easy. Cruel blood oath. I'll never forget the time we met. I knew ours was a love that would last for eternity. But even when by his side his feelings were a mystery, it was painful not to know what he was thinking, so painful. When I was close, I heard him, yet being distant hurt him more. I finally found my place in life, a place where I am as close as possible, yet eternally distant. Machine axe. Human fight, why? Why humans love? Why do humans band together? You, why are you alive? Well, why don't you come over and find out? Phoenix Lance. Legends tell of a mighty warrior who had no equal in battle, granted immortality by a phoenix. He wandered from war to war, forever searching for ways to prove his strength. Eventually the man's immortal body proved too much for his spirit, and he ran himself through with his own spear again and again, but each time he did, the wound closed over itself, leaving not even a scar. He's really stress testing that shit. He leapt from cliffs, threw himself into raging seas, and lit himself aflame, but nothing worked. Then one day he slipped mercifully into unconsciousness and awoke centuries later to find his songbird on his chest. You have atoned for your sins, said the bird. If you wish me to free you from your solitary existence, I will gladly do so. The man wept tears of joy and whispered thanks to the gods before suddenly stomping the... Oh my god. Beast curse. Once upon a time there were 3 princesses. The youngest princess widely regarded as the ugliest woman in all the land, but her heart was gentle, honest, and pure. Hoping to aid others in need, the youngest princess would travel to the fields to offer succor to peasants, but they would reject her kindness with cruel words. The youngest princess knew her looks were driving people away, yet she kept donating her life in the service of others, figuring that the fault lied in her own lack of devotion. Day after day, this continued for years without end. The youngest princess died alone, curled in the back of a damp, wet alley. She was so ugly that no one had the courage to give her a proper burial. Instead, she rotted where she lay, turning even uglier until she faded into the earth. Oh, Lord. Dragoon Lance? I had a dream about the day we met. He was small, he was insignificant, he was weak, yet he hated the world just as I did. I decided to aid him as he did the same for me, thus was our friendship born. It wasn't perfect, of course, mistakes were made along the way, still we remained friends. The blue wind that caresses these grasslands has a pleasing scent. I bring my cheek to his and he twitches, almost as if he tickled. Then I spread my wings and let him ride me into the skies above. I'm not going to touch that. You can just you can just imagine that wording as however you want. Spear of the Usurper. In a distant kingdom there lived 2 princes. The son of the queen consort was clever of mind but weak of flesh. The son of the king's second wife was dim-witted yet charming and quite gifted in the art of war. Which prince would succeed the throne? When news came down that the king had died in battle, the 2 men each declared themselves the next true king, rallying the people to take the side of one or the other. In the midst of the coronation battle, a 3rd man appeared claiming to be a prince. Bright, capable, and brave, he dispatched the 2 foolish brothers and went on to become a wise and just king beloved by all. Decades later, the king announced on his deathbed that he wasn't royalty at all, but in fact was the son of a commoner. Upon hearing this revelation, the people stormed the castle and hung their beloved ruler from the rafters. Alright then. Type 40 Lance. Hi guys, it's me, 42S, your favorite Ural Squadron idol from North 12C Defense HQ. I'm here with the latest hot scoops from the front line, so let's get out there and do our best, alright? Go team! Hey ho, Battlefield buddies. I'm not gonna lie here, the current war situation isn't looking too optimistic, but we're expecting reinforcements from our orbiting satellite bases any moment, so don't give up yet. Glory to mankind! Mayday, mayday! This is Publicity Agent 42S from North 12C Defense HQ. Is anyone listening? Our facility has been completely surrounded by machines. I don't know how much longer we can hold. No broadcast from this channel. Type 3 Lance. The unadorned lance pierced our foes with machine-like accuracy. The grind of metal on bone, in tandem with the pain screams of her victims, created sweet music in the mercenary girl's ears. Day after day, she returned to the battlefield to compose more music. Here, a giant of a man, fat rippling from his sides. There, a slimmer gentleman whose bones would surely produce a sweeter sound. Ah, who to stab first? The girl fought for an age, stabbing uncountable foes in an effort to find the ideal scream. The sonorous, bone-grinding sound. Yet perfection eluded her no matter how hard she tried. Would she ever find what she sought? Suddenly she turned to find a fine-looking hunk of meat at her side. Stabbing it produced a scream so pure she couldn't help but smile. She continued to smile as she stabbed, no longer able to recall what the hunk was her own child. Virtuous dignity. The elegant white spear was crafted by a tyrant as a gift for his wife, whose parents he had killed years earlier. She slipped it under the bed they shared, then later used it to run him through 30 times. The spear's second owner was a courageous bandit fighting mayor. In her later years, her strength faded until one night a pack of young thugs surrounded her and took all that she had, including her life. The third owner was a greedy merchant who lived to swindle customers. Soon she found herself shunned and penniless, and so decided to hang herself. The unused spear rested in a corner of her home as a decoration. The fourth owner was a meek young boy who wanted to aid his sickly younger sister, gave all to this cause, including his very existence and that of all else in the world. The dark, hideous lance was crafted by a beautiful female artisan. As people far and wide praised its design, the artisan apprentice grew jealous and slew her, the lance itself soon vanishing into the midst of time. The lance's second owner was a puppeteer who crafted a clockwork doll capable of doing nearly anything. When he put the lance in the doll's hand, she lashed out and pierced the puppeteer's skull right between the eyes. The third owner was an infant prince who was gifted the lance by the Queen Regent. She died soon thereafter, and on the night of her funeral, the lance vanished from the infant's room, leaving behind only a tiny corpse in the crib. The fourth owner was a simple, honest man who wanted to aid his sickly daughter. He gave all to this cause, including his very existence and that of all else in the world. That last line, I think, is for Daddy NieR from one version of the first NieR, and the other one was for Baby NieR from the Japanese version of NieR. I think those are what those are referencing. Machine Spear. My name is Pt.43. I am a failure of a machine. I was designed for combat, but I can't use weapons. Everyone makes fun of me, and my life is horrible. I am a dumb machine. I got lost during battle, ended up in some kind of factory. I found a whole pile of dolls discarded there. They share the same fate as I do. I am a foolish machine. Today I had to fight at that factory. All of the dolls got completely destroyed, crushed by my friends and foes who could do nothing but fight, fight, fight. I activated my cannon and shot everyone there. I'm not sure why I did that. All I know is I decided to fight because I'm just a stupid, broken machine. Once there was a demon who held an affinity for angels. He dreamed of serving alongside them and their god, yet cursed the possibility of it all. Then one day he came to earth, bringing himself a step closer to heaven. An angel was sent to slay the demon. When the evil one saw his foe, he burst into tears and revealed his plan. Please, the demon begged, you must give me a seat of white wings for my very own. The angel agreed to trade a set of white wings for the head of another demon. Overjoyed, the demon killed one of his own and plucked the head right off its still warm body. The angel then led the demon to heaven, where he underwent centuries of the cruelest tortures imaginable. Finally, the pain was so great that he lost consciousness, at which point his dark wings turned the promised shade of white. Demons cry. Once there was a gentle angel who came to earth to provide salvation for those in need. Whether it was curing illness, offering blessings, or cheering the sad, he was always there when needed. The angel, however, provided aid to sinners and non-believers as well, an act which was strictly forbidden. Each time he did so, a single white feather would fall away from his glorious wings. One day the angel came across a young girl with an illness that pained her deeply, but he could do nothing to help the child, for all his feathers had long since fallen off. The angel cursed both himself and the cruelty of the world. The resulting hatred stained his body and his wings, turning them both black as night. When crying tears of blood, he brought his hands to the girl's neck. Type 40 fists. System URL, unit data, uploading, checkout HC, close IO, duplicate core, find URL unit, updating data, checking data, purge conversation log, purge unit data, purge system data, exit. Well, isn't that riveting? Type 3 fists. The man wailed an inhuman scream as he brought his fist down on his opponent's skull. He brought it down again and again and again until the victim was nothing more than a splatter of blood and bits. The man had a beautiful wife that drove everyone wild with jealousy. They lived a simple, happy life, yet the man always strove to keep his wife safe above all else. One night the man came home to find a stranger in his bed. His wife told him that he could force himself on her, at which point the husband flew into a rage and vowed to exact revenge. The man bought a weapon from a craftsman famed for forging instruments of pain, then used it to punish his wife, for he could not abide that she failed to protect her virtue. His revenge was complete. Virtuous grief. I see you in my sleep, restless sleep. My heart flies to peace. Each time I wake, I burn to see you in the real world. I hunt for the woman who pines for me. The scream pleases me. Your body and heart shall be mine. Your heart I long for, yet it does not return my love and kind. All you care for is your cold, dead wife, so I must at least take your body. Your head is mine, beautiful head. The eyes that scorn me are so lovely now. Hate me if you like, begrudge me all. You are still mine forever. Cruel lament. I take up the sword in battle for you. My heart knows not fear, instead burning with a love strong and pure. I swing my sword for you, splattering blood across my sleeve. I smile as the chaos continues. I brandish my sword for you, victims unaccountable, victims beyond measure. Their dying wails become the song of my sleep. I cry out, give me your head. I capture you as you flee and take it. I do all this for you. For you, who are you? Machine heads. I lack parts. I am useless. My existence is unnecessary. I tried so hard, mommy. Engine blade. A small prince rests alone in a vast bedroom. He wishes his father knew how much he hates sleeping alone, but he doesn't dare to tell him, for the king is a very busy man and must not be disturbed. The king sits alone in his vast office, drowning in affairs of state. All he wants is to see his family and hug his son, but he cannot, for his every waking moment must be spent in service of the people. One day, while eating dinner, the king asks his son what he most desires in the world. He hopes he will say that he wants them to spend more time together, but instead the boy simply points at a sword hanging on the wall. The ancient sword is considered the sign that one is ready to rule. Someday, the king chuckles. His son faintly smiles back at him. All he really wanted was for his father to read him a bedtime story. Cipher stick. I was in a dead sleep when Mom started shouting. Wakey, wakey, she squawked. Rise and shine. Today's a very important day. Today's your first visit to the castle. Annoying, right? But I got up anyway. Today's my 16th birthday and I have an audience with the king. Mom's apparently worried that he'll charge me with some big important task, so she gave me a cipher stick for some reason. Like that'll help. As we walk to the castle, Mom keeps blabbing about how excited she is and how long she's been waiting for this day. She's told me this story 1,000,001 times, so I just keep quiet like always. When we arrive, I see my friend coming out of the castle. He's 16 too, but his fearless gaze makes him look like a legendary hero to be. I'm sure he's got a lot to live up to. My dad's just a carpenter, so I've got it easy. Emil heads. I confirmed that the machine life forms released by the aliens have reconstructed their network. I've started to see units with gravity controlling capabilities again as well. I was spawned about a week ago, so I don't have clear recollections of anything before that. Say, I wonder where the original disappeared to all these millennia ago. I confirm that the 25th one born after me has stopped his biological activity. Although we're technically immortal, since we can respawn indefinitely and all, we're still not exempt from death. Fair enough. Our memories are only copies, so they're pretty vague. That android wearing black, I have the feeling I've met her before. She had a complicated look on her face, but I can't remember anything. Oh, at least now I have a good idea of the timeline. And that's it for every weapon story. Wasn't too bad. About half an hour of story reading. Alright. See ya.